Ursacora? I know what the U stands for, but I keep getting the last one wrong. Corregidora. Old man Corregidora, the Portuguese slave breeder and whoremonger. Is that what they call them? He fucked his own whores and fathered his own breed. They did the fucking and had to bring him the money they made. My grandmama was his daughter, but he was fucking her too. She said when they did away with slavery down there, they burned all the slavery papers, so it would be like they never had it. Who told you all that? My great-grandmama told my grandmama the part she lived through that my grandmama didn't live through, and my grandmama told my mama what they both lived through, and my mama told me what they all lived through, and we were supposed to pass it down like that from generation to generation, so we didn't never forget, even though they'd burned everything to play like it didn't never happen. Yeah, and where's the next generation? Okay, I'm here to give my next review on Corregidora, and that is a passage that I read from pages 8 and 9 of this beautiful Blue Stream edition by Gail Jones. Now, it's taken me a long while to review this book, and for obvious reasons. As you can see, it is a very short book, but it is a very compact book with lots of different themes and a lot of things going on in it. Now, I'm going to firstly talk about the way the book is written, because that influences, I say, many different interpretations of this book. Now, I know that the only other person I know that has read this book is Steve Reads Books. Steven has read the book and he has done a review. I have not watched Steven's review, so I don't know what he thinks about it. We've talked a lot, recently, but we didn't talk about what I thought about this book because I hadn't made this review yet. Now, the structure of this book is very particular because it starts basically, I think it's 1946, and the main character, Ursa, is a beautiful black woman who sings blues and jazz in a club called Happy's Cafe. And she really does captivate an audience because of the way she looks. She's very pretty. And at the time, she's married to a man whose name is Mutt. And now, the essentials of their relationship is that Mutt is a man who wants to protect his woman and wants to provide for his woman. So Mutt seems to always have difficulty with the fact that Ursa works in Happy's Cafe singing in front of an audience which contains majority men. And he feels like his woman is exposed in a way, and that she shouldn't be doing that. She should be at home and, doing motherly or wifely duties. Now, as the story continues, you realize it's told in a sort of peculiar structure because you follow the eye of the book, which is Ursa, but you also go through dialogues, and sometimes the dialogues are interrupted by Ursa's thoughts from her past. And it's in these interruptions that you discover things that make the story more clear, because it's really like puzzle pieces all broken up. I would say that it's a type of a stream of consciousness, but it is not disorientating like a lot of stream of consciousness writing is done. Basically what it does is that with every bit of stream of consciousness, you get a very good in-depth understanding of what Ursa is feeling, and you understand more about her past. Now, be that as it may, as the story goes on, we realize that there is a very focalized theme in the book, which is around the idea of slavery and how it has affected African Americans today. Oh, in this case, I think she wrote this, I'm not really sure when she wrote this book. Let's see, she wrote this book in the 1970s. So you can imagine that she's trying to portray the difficulties that Black Americans were having in the 70s. She's trying to portray that through this book, with this idea that recounting the past, the acts, the horrible acts of slavery, it somehow has chained the Black man down, and the Black woman too. And that seems to be one of the primary themes in the book, is this constant recounting, because as the story goes on, we realize this passage that I read is basically how Ursa lives her life, how she grows up when she's living with her mother and grandmother, and she's living with them, recounting these horrid stories about this man, Corregidora, and incessant rape and abuse, exchange of money. It's debilitating, to the point where it actually debilitates Ursa's capacity to have a relationship with a man. It's almost as if though she is cut off right at the middle concerning men. Now, it's hard for me to talk more in depth about it without giving away some aspects of the story, but in general, there's that aspect, but then there's also the aspect of the Black man and what is expected of the Black man, and as opposed to relationships between Black men and Black women. Now, I would say that when Gail Jones wrote this book, she was maybe intending it to be probably more of a way of talking about the effects that slavery has left on the Black man and Black woman over generations, which will continue to happen because it is like that. It is cyclic. And we can see even today in 2015, there's still, this effect from slavery that is on the Black American population, or Black diaspora population, I should say. And it seems like it's hard to escape. And as you read towards the end of the book, you realize that escapism, it's not possible. And now you could also read this book from the feminist point of view as well. The idea that the mother and grandmother tell her that when she has her children, she has to recount to them this same story over and over again until they get it through their thick skulls, who we are, where we came from, and what is expected of us. And that is a bit frightening, because you really see that, that Ursa is really stuck between a rock and a hard place, and she doesn't seem to have any way to go. Now, short book. It's only 185 pages. It's beautifully written. There's a little bit of dialect writing in here, but it is really not difficult at all to read or to understand. It is very blatant. She doesn't sugarcoat it. She tells you exactly how it is. You can either cope with it or you can't cope with it. But what I do appreciate is that it's another aspect or another way of talking about the difficulties of Black people, especially Black women, and black women in particular, that I haven't seen it exactly portrayed in this way. And I'm surprised that I haven't heard more talk about this book, or that I maybe didn't even read it in college, because I did a Black women writers course in college, but Gail Jones wasn't one of the people that I read, unfortunately. Now, Gail Jones is still alive. I don't know where she is, but if she's watching this, I have to say, Gail Jones, my hat's off to you. You are an excellent writer, and I hope more people will discover you and want to read your stuff. I'm at the moment waiting for Mosquito to come in the mail so that I can read it as well. I suggest you read this book if you're interested in something a little bit different and another aspect on Black women and men, their relationships and their lives. Check it out, people. It's a really good book. I gave it 4 stars. Probably would have given it about 4.5 if I could have. It's a very, very interesting read. That's all I have for you today.